Hey everybody, welcome back to Barbecue by Biggs. I'm Aaron, and today we're taking a look at the Vevor meat warming cabinet. That's right, we've been on a quest lately to find the best budget meat warmer to hold brisket, ribs, or whatever else you might be able to hold. And we're gonna put this one through its paces. If you wanna see how it turns out, come along with us. Stay tuned. All right, I'll get this thing unboxed right quick. We'll lay it on its side so you can see it here. Look like it's packed pretty good. Got foam around the edges. More foam. Hey, at least you know it's not gonna get damaged in shipping. Reach in here, get this pulled out. I don't know if any of you have bought anything that has this coating on it, but I'll tell you, it sucks to get off. So it's gonna take us a little bit of time to get this stuff off. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing peeled and we'll bring you back when it's done. All right, so we got it all off, about 30 minutes worth of unwrapping. The only thing that stinks about this is that when they put this thing together, they put it together with rivets and they rivet right through this plastic. Well, you know what happens then is that you got these little pieces on here that are difficult to get off. Also, when they put these doors on here, you want to take a knife and come down the side of these hinges if you want to get that stuff off. It is riveted underneath this hinge, so it's very difficult to get off. But if that's all there is to it, it's not that big of a deal to me, especially for the price. So the model number we're working with today is a FWHB 251524, and we'll give you a screenshot here and show you what the normal price is. With every Vevor product just about, if you register when you do check out, you do get an extra discount. So make sure that you do that and you'll get a good deal on this one. So is it the cheapest warmer that you can buy? No, but what we're looking at is something that has capacity, that can hold several briskets, that hold several racks of ribs, chickens, whatever you might put in it, and still is in that budget category. So let's jump in here and see what this one has to offer. So it comes mostly assembled. All we have to put on is the feet. We got the water pan here that go right inside, and then we have two door pulls. And of course the power cord. They also send this hot mitt with it too. So we'll flip this thing upside down, get these feet put on, get the cabinet doors put on, and we'll get it put together. All right, we're gonna get those feet installed. We do have an included Phillips screwdriver, so we're just gonna put the screw inside of the foot and then go ahead and put it in that. We'll go ahead and get the rest of these knocked out and bring you right back. All right, we got those put on. We're gonna flip it up and go ahead and get those handles put on as well. Again, just a Phillips screwdriver. We'll back these out, get those knocked out. You don't wanna tighten it too tight, but just get it snug. All right, those are done. So you have a removable water cup that needs to go into the bottom here. We'll fill this up with water when we do the test. Keeps it humid inside of the cabinet, keeps everything moist. We'll put that in there. And then it does have 4 shelves here. And I wanted to give you measurements across and in front. All right, so we're gonna measure it right quick from front to back. You're looking at right at 14 1/4 to the closure. Deep, and then side to side, right at 22 inches. So the overall size for this box, if you're wondering, is right at 25 inches. With the feet on, it's right at 25 inches, and then the depth is 15 inches, but it's about 15.5 with the handles. So this is a 4 shelf unit. It comes with 4 large shelves. Go ahead and get those put in there. So plenty of space in between them. So in between each one of these shelves, you have right at 4 inches of space on each one of these. So plenty of room. It also has room for, if you have sides and half pans, you can go 2 half pans or a full pan across. So you can get 1, 2, 3, 4 briskets in here. You can get 8 sides in here. If you use quarter pans, maybe do green beans or whatever, you can get even more than that, but this thing holds a ton. So we also bought these large hotel pans from Vevor. I'll leave a link to these in the description below. A lot cheaper than buying the large pans and then just throwing them away. You can wash these out, but these also, if you look, they fit and will slide right in as well. So you can get 4 of those in there as well. So a lot of storage in there for sure. We've been wanting these for this one and the other one that we reviewed, and you know what? We found them. I'll leave a link in the description below. All right, we got it all put together. Let's get it plugged in and get it fired up. See how this thing does. All right, let's turn this thing on, see if it works. It kicked on. So as you can see right now, it's at 158 degrees is what it's set on. It's climbing, it's already to 98 degrees. This is our timekeeper on the side, kind of tells us how long that it's been in here. We're gonna go ahead and change our set value to 150, because that's what we wanna hold brisket at, right around 150 degrees. So now that we got it set, it's gonna be up to 150 degrees. We'll go ahead and let that come up to temp, and then we'll start doing our test. Before it gets too hot, we're gonna go ahead and pull that water cup out and go ahead and get some water in here. We filled that almost to the top so we can see how much that uses. All right, after about 7 minutes, this thing is up to temp and ready to be tested. We're gonna test this today with a ThermoWorks signals unit. This is a 4-probe unit that we're gonna use on the inside. We're gonna take pans of water, cover them with foil, go ahead and put the probes into that foil, into the water, and kind of see how this thing reacts. Is 150 degrees on the setting the right setting to keep this at 150 degrees? We're gonna find that out. Once we find the right setting, maybe we need to tweak it up or tweak it down, whatever the case may be. We're gonna let this run for 6 hours and make sure that with it loaded up, it keeps it at a food safe temperature at the whole time. So we got our ThermoWorks geared up. We're gonna get our water loaded up, and we're gonna get to testing. So we got all those containers in here full of water. We put the probes in. We also bumped this up to 170 degrees to get that water temped up to that 155 degree range. And then we lowered it down. We lowered it down to 140 degrees to see if it would hold that 155. This works like an oven. It goes up and it goes down. And we also know that water loses heat a lot faster than a big chunk of meat would. If you took a boiling pot of water and set it on the counter, it's gonna cool off a lot quicker than that big brisket would if you just set the same brisket on the counter. Probably about twice as fast, to be honest with you. So this is just to get an idea of how even across this thing it cooks. It's gonna act differently with a brisket. So when we get a brisket in here, we're gonna treat it a little bit differently. We'll start at a lower temperature, maybe around that 135 mark, because that's where food is safe, and then bring it up from there depending on how our meat does. What we don't wanna do is start off a little too low and then have this thing heat the bottom up, and then we'll be cooking it, and we don't wanna cook it. So we're gonna let this run for a few more hours, and we'll bring you back and let you know what the results are. So the cool thing about this signals unit is it has 4 different readouts on the screen, so you can look and see which one is doing what and keep track of everything. You can also set high and low temperature alarms by going into the app. So we can go into the app here. As you can see in the app here, we have the signals unit. We'll click on it, and then it's gonna give you, I have it set as shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3, shelf 4. I'll put a little graphic up here so you can follow along. You can just click on it and you can set a high or low temperature alarm on it. You can do a lot of things with this. And then after you get your cook done, you can also come down and hit the graph, and then it's gonna show you on a graph how these things are doing. So we will bring you back when we're done with the test. So after 6 hours, we call this test done. This thing is run fairly consistently between 150 to 153 degrees on shelf 1, 2, and 3. Shelf 4, the one on the bottom by the heating element, has ran about 5 to 10 degrees hotter, but this thing has to cycle a whole lot more than it would if we had it loaded full of beef. I'll tell you what, this thing is a lot more consistent than I thought it would be. It holds temps real well, and I tell you what, even with the water that cools and heats fast, and this thing has to cycle on and cycle off, it's held it right where it needs to be. But just like with any other oven, it's gonna have its ups and it's gonna have its downs. When you do have the meat in there, you gotta find that temperature that keeps it the right amount for you. So with that, we're done. We'll catch you guys on the next cook. And you know what? Maybe it'll include this. Who knows? See you next time.